Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the track Overcompensate by the American musical duo 21 Pilots. This is the lead single from their upcoming 7th studio album titled Clancy, which is due to land on May 17th. And interestingly enough, with their previous album Scaled and Icy from 2021, it was actually an anagram of Clancy is Dead. So they lied to us. He's actually making a return for one final chapter, which will see the band return to the city of Dema and also see the final chapter of Clancy really come to its conclusion. So it's going to reference to a lot of lore throughout the course of this album and really move back to what some of the things that we certainly did see on Trench. So will we see Clancy rise to the top, or will we see him have to overcompensate for his mistakes? Let's take a look at exactly how this track sounds.
Diese kleine unheimliche Insel hat mich zu einer Waffe gemacht. Wir glauben beide, cette petite île étrange a fait de moi une arme. Et nous allons l'utiliser pour changer les lois de cette terre.
Welcome back to Trench.
Okay, we're definitely seeing a bit more of an uplifting and triumphant sound with the opening of this latest album. Just can really set with the almost horn sounds that they've got coming through. Josh Dunn really having that very energetic style of drumming that we have seen him incorporate very heavily into previous albums. And they're really setting the scene with the opening to this track, with the different languages coming in with the translation that kind of refers to this small eerie island has made me a weapon. We both believe that we can use it to change the momentum of this war. So the idea of kind of Clancy leading the resistance, fighting against the bishops and Dema. There's a lot of lore really packed in to the band's musical history that's definitely worth a deep dive and looking into if you've not heard that before or kind of explored it before. And we can really see with that opening line that welcome back to Trench. We're going back to that sound, that style and that story as well as we approach this final chapter. And I love the way that the band are really building it to feel like almost a film, a story, a novel, things like that. And as we move into that break, I created this world to feel some control, destroy it if I want. So I sing Salo Felina, and that Salo Felina is actually what is actually cried out in Trench when somebody is in need, and it kind of has a rough translation to the idea of to enable creativity free of conformity and routine. So we're not wanting to be fit into a box, often what resistances and things like that do revolve around, not wanting to kind of go along with the status quo, wanting to do things a different way, and maybe using the momentum to make a change to the war that is happening in the kind of law that's really being brought in by the band. So I really do like that. And then as we head into that that first verse, earned my stripes 300 tracks in my Adidas track jacket. The idea of earning stripes, the idea of kind of being a soldier effectively, earning it through the battles that you actually fight in. Bless your ear holes while you react, acting gobsmacked, don't hesitate. So I could almost kind of showing this idea of really just getting stuck in, really diving in quite deep. And even with the videography, these people just watching him kind of almost kind of take to this stage effectively in this auditorium. He's kind of putting out that message, trying to rise in revolution. So you can really see how it's kind of building back towards the idea of this war, and they're referencing that in some of the lyrics that we do have. And I also like some of the other lyrics that we have really got coming through. Don't sleep on a boy who can't fall asleep twice. The idea of maybe not kind of being fooled by the same thing twice over. You maybe fall asleep and you kind of just think that there's no threat, but once you've kind of happened to you once, you don't fall for the same thing twice. Or maybe it's a reference to somebody who's able to easily overcome obstacles. So I really like that, how maybe I've made these mistakes, but I'm willing to look past them, I'm willing to learn from them, and I won't hesitate this time to actually do something different, to overcompensate. And as we do head into that chorus as well, I love that opening line. I said I fly by the dangerous bend symbol. Wait, what? You actually do see it in places like the UK. The dangerous bend symbol, it's kind of warning you of that thing that's coming up ahead, that there's going to be a severe turn in the road. And whilst I love the way that this maybe fits in with the band's lore, I do also love the real life application of that particular lyric. Sometimes in life you get warnings that difficulties lie ahead, or there's a sharp turn, your life's going to go in a different direction, and sometimes you just kind of ignore it and then you have to course correct further down the line. So if you look at some things like your health, you might get a slight twinge in your back on occasion, you ignore it, then all of a sudden you've got to really do a lot of things to try and course correct. So I really love the way they're showing that idea of ignoring these warning signs that life does give you sometimes, and it gets to a point where you've really got to steer the wheel to the left or the right very sharply to kind of overcompensate, to over course correct. So I love the way it still has that implication of that idea of life. Don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. So don't wait till it's too late of going down that path of destruction before you do actually correct yourself onto that normal path, and kind of find it easier to get through those twists and turns of life. So I really do love how, whilst they're bringing in their lore, they're really still incorporating that real world message that we do see in a lot of the band's music.
Where I'm from, I was born right here, just now. Originated right in front of your eyes. If you can't see, I am Clancy. Prodigal son, done running, come up with Josh done. Wanted dead or alive, so now you pick who you serve. You bow to the masses, get kicked to the curb. For passing the classes, half empty, half full. Save half of your taxes, then overtake your former self. I fly by the dangerous band symbol. Don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate, and then by the time I catch in my peripheral, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. Days feel like a perfect length, I don't need them any longer, but for goodness sake, do the years seem way too short for my soul, corazón. Way too short for my soul, corazón. Days feel like a perfect length, I don't need them any longer, but for goodness sake, do the years seem way too short for my soul, corazón. Way too short for my soul, corazón. Earn my stripes, 300 tracks in my Adidas track jacket. Bless your ear holes while you react, acting gobsmacked, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. I said I fly by the dangerous band symbol. Don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate, and then by the time I catch in my peripheral, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate.
Okay, definitely setting the scene for where this album is going to go, where it's going to explore. We're just kind of building up this story of Clancy, really returning him to the forefront, the resistance and things like that. Really see that with people kind of gaining their stripes and just really joining this resistance. We see them in the white clothes and swapping to the red with their stripes that they have earned. So they've kind of joined this rise in rebellion that we're really going to see kind of clashing with Dema as we do return to Trench. And I love as well how we did have some references linked to songs songs such as Bandito as well in some of the lyrics, and also that kind of tied in with some of the musical choices. The idea of the horns in, we headed through the bridge into some of those really interesting, curious little elements that we really had coming through. They're very playful moments that the band really did include. Lots of curious dotted little sounds just kind of flitting in and out of the track to really give it that playfulness and kind of add a more uplifting sound to this opening track from this upcoming album. And as we headed through the bridge, days feel like a perfect length, I don't need them any longer, but for goodness sake do the years seem way too short for my soul. So this can actually be a reference back to Scaled and Icy, the idea of the COVID era when time just seemed to go nowhere and people were kind of not sure what to do with themselves, that passing of time, or the idea maybe that war can just kind of eat time away. It can last over 10-15 years, but sometimes it may not feel like that. So it's just kind of looking at lots of different ideas, but really sort of sets the scene for what we can possibly expect to hear from the rest of the album going forward. But I just kind of like the way that they're still continuing to evolve as a duo. They kind of just constantly show their ability to throw out something new, to kind of just allow themselves down that creative process, not kind of fit themselves into a box. And we can really see that sometimes they feel like they have to overcompensate, but they kind of continue to go down this winding path of just doing things their own, building in their story, which really gives them a bit more of an idea of where they seem to want to go. And I'm actually kind of quite glad to see them returning to Trench, to returning to some of those elements and sounds that we did see, kind of bringing the story to a close. So there we have it, our first taste of Clancy's final chapter, but I would love to know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. Are you quite excited to see more of this kind of sound coming in from the band, to see this continuation of their story? I would really love to know your thoughts, or feel free to let know how you feel about the musical style that the band are choosing to go with. Also, if you would like to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Dojo Analysis.